Today, we're going to cover something a little different than our usual Disney content. Obviously, outside of going to Magic Kingdom and Epcot, Mystery Funhouse was something I simultaneously looked forward to and dreaded going to with my dad. From what I've read and researched, this roadside attraction was very popular with locals and even had two movies filmed in it. For those of you familiar, I look forward to strolling down memory lane with you, and for the rest of you who are just curious, welcome and pull up a chair as we look over the history of Mystery Funhouse. March 27th, 1976. Mystery Funhouse opened on Major Boulevard near International Drive and was located across where Universal Studios is now. The idea was created by David A. Siegel, who was the founder of Westgate Resorts. To coincide with the building's grand opening, he created a character named Willie Wabbit that would be installed in Orlando's International Airport. The animatronic was made in the vein of Chuck E. Cheese as Shadow Biz pizza places started to pop up across the country. The funhouse was divided into 15 chambers, the first of which being a fairly simple mirror maze. Once you find your way to the exit, you'd walk through a giant moving barrel which would lead you to tunnels you could crawl through. At the end of the tunnels, guests would enter a dungeon where gory scenes would play out in a sort of horror-themed medieval torture chamber. After surviving the dungeons, you traverse your way through moving bridges and crooked rooms. The funhouse would also have a multiplex movie theater, but the fun didn't end there. There was a moon room, a hologram machine, and a giant wall-sized computer that would read your handwriting and tell you your fortune. Mystery Funhouse also had a disco room with a lighted dance floor. About three-quarters of the way through the funhouse, guests would meet the wizard himself in the form of a projection on a large screen. In the early days of the Funhouse, it was home to a magic shop which was run by veteran magician Dan Stapleton, as well as an 18-hole mini golf course. While not having the glitz and glamour that Disney World has, it had a certain charm and was very different than your typical boardwalk funhouse you'd see at local fairs. As the popularity grew for the Funhouse, so did the attractions. The 80s saw many changes and expansions to accommodate the growing crowds. Starbase Omega was one of the first additions, which was an area for laser tag. Patrons would sit in a transporter to make it seem like they were being shipped to a new planet. The carpets would be extra bouncy to simulate the change in gravity, although I'm sure it didn't help aim much. The mini golf area would change from a wizard themed mystery mini golf into a dinosaur themed Jurassic putt, while also adding a hole that was isolated in a building that was almost in complete darkness. But the biggest expansion came from the restaurant and arcade area. To follow up with the Chuck E. Cheese craze, Mystery Funhouse had the Whiz-Bangs. Their mascot was a 9-foot tall lion named the King, who was an Elvis Presley impersonator, which in reality was just a retrofitted Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. As the years went by and people's choices in entertainment changed, funhouses as a profitable business model went by the wayside. As other theme parks popped up in the Orlando area, Mystery Funhouse would soon be a relic, and on February 18th of 2001, the wizard would pack his bags for good. It became a Westgate Welcome Center as David A. Siegel still remained the owner of the lot until 2022. In October of that same year, the building would be demolished, leaving no trace of the place that once brought joy to millions of patrons. Its legacy could still be found in two feature films. The birthday scene in the 1989 film Parenthood was filmed there, as well as most of the horror film Night Terror that was shot while the building was closed in 2002. Over 2 decades later, this local legend still holds a special place in people's hearts who are lucky enough to traverse the wizard's lair. Mystery Funhouse was more than just a tourist attraction. From talking with people in the area, it was a rite of passage. It may have lacked the billion-dollar budget of other local establishments, and it was certainly rough around the edges, but it was an experience in of itself. From the creepy organ music to the foreboding hotel-like lobby, it certainly gave this young chicken a scare, which I guess isn't saying much since I was pretty much scared of everything. The Wizard will always bring back fond memories, and it's sad to see a childhood classic go by the wayside. But I guess this channel wouldn't exist without lost attractions. And now this video will also be a distant memory, so thank you for watching.